Hey everyone, welcome to week 11 of Intro to Biblical Languages and our second week of Hebrew. I know that the first week was kind of a fire hydrant to the face, but rest assured that I really think that you're going to find the rest of Hebrew much easier than you did with Greek. And if you don't, it's probably because you've already forgotten how hard Greek was grammatically. Really, all that we're introducing to you here are some new letters and sentence structure, but really the grammar is far less complex, and I think you'll find it much more freeing and less mathematical. If that's something that you're inclined to like, then it's good for you. If not, then you may hate Hebrew, but I think you'll still find it easier to work with in general. Okay, so what I want to do in this lecture is really do more of a tutorial, because I think that's really probably what's going to help you the most in working with Hebrew. So I'm going to leave a lot of the technicalities and stuff of the grammar to you. I'm not going to go over that too extensively. Feel free to ask questions in the forums and I'll answer them as they come up. Suffice it to say that just like Greek, you have nouns, pronouns, adjectives, and prepositions. But unlike Greek, what the Hebrew language tends to like to do is stack letters on top of words in order to change their meanings. So you might have the word foot, and in order to make it plural, you stick an ending on it, just like we would in English. You put an S on it. In Hebrew, you'd put a yod mem on the end, and it would be feet, plural. And then if you wanted to make it a particular set of feet, you'd put a definite article, the feet, and that would just be sticking a hey on the front of it. This is all just anecdotal, just to give you some idea. And then if you wanted to put a preposition, you'd just stick a different letter on it, and it would be to the feet. So that would be lamed, hey, the noun, and then the ending. This is how you work with nouns in Hebrew. You kind of stack new letters onto them to alter the way you want them to function in the context. Okay, so you'll see all of that as you're working through this lecture here. And I'm sure that you'll have a lot of questions, and I'm sure I'll have a lot of answers. So what I want to do, though, is work with you in Logos to show you some tricks on how to work in Hebrew. Now, let me just start with the caveat that unfortunately in Logos, they've spent a lot less time developing their Hebrew resources than they have their English resources, which is a shame, but it is what it is. So I'm going to show you how I set up my Hebrew study so that you can emulate it and try to walk along with me until you find a way that works better for you. Okay, so here I'm in the Logos home screen. What I want to do is I want to open up my Hebrew Bible. So I'm going to type in BHS. That stands for Biblia Hebraica Stuttgartensia, which is a fancy Latin way of saying the Hebrew Bible is translated in Stuttgart. You're welcome. So go ahead and click on that, and it will open up your Hebrew Bible. Now, what you probably also want to do is open up your English Bible in tandem. I have mine set up here, but you can just type in ESV, hit enter, and just like we did in Greek, I'm going to move it so that it's parallel with my Hebrew Bible. So just keep moving it around until you see the left half of your screen highlighted in blue, and drop it, and you'll have them right side by side. Okay, then what you want to do, and this is something we didn't do in Greek, though you can, is prioritize some of your lexicons as resources, and I'll explain why that's important. So what you want to do is go to your library and type in, for instance, Swanson, which is one of the lexicons we've used. The Dictionary of Biblical Languages with Semantic Domains. Now, don't click on it. Go up to the top right corner where it says prioritize. Click on that, and you'll see a list. This is my list of resources that I have prioritized. Now, you'll notice I already have this resource right here, but what you can do is you can just grab it and you can drag and drop it. Now, I'm not going to do that because I already have it in there, but I've I've done 3 different Hebrew lexicons: the Concise Hebrew Aramaic Lexicon, which you used last week, the Dictionary of Biblical Languages, which you used last week, and a new one, the Brown Driver Briggs Hebrew Lexicon. So I've got those 3 prioritized, and here's why. Whenever I look up a Hebrew word, it's going to give me my top 3 lexicons. Okay, so where is that going to happen? Well, in Hebrew, if you notice, when you're working in a text, if you hover over the word like you did in Greek, you get all of the parsing and none of the definitions. This is just one of the shortcomings of the way the Hebrew functions in Logos. What you want to do is go up to this right corner here, where it says resource information, and click that. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not what I want. It's the same icon, but apparently it doesn't do the same thing. Go to tools, and you'll see library, social, reference, utilities, passage, lookup. Click the information, which is the same icon, but apparently a different thing. And click on that, and you'll get a new pane over on the right hand side. What this is going to do is every time you click on a Hebrew word, it's going to give you the lexical information of that word. Okay, so with all of this in line, you should be able to do the homework that I've assigned for you, but I'm going to walk through part of it to show you how to do it. But right before we do that, I want to show you how to save this layout so that every time you come back into Logos, you can go right back to it. If you go up into the right corner where it says layouts here and click on that, I've already got mine saved as Hebrew Study, but you can say save as named layout. You click on that and name it, and it will and then whenever you come in, you can just go to that layout section and click on it, and it will open it up immediately to how you had it saved. Okay, this is how I usually do my Hebrew Study. So I was apparently in Leviticus 8 the last time I used it. Let's go back to Genesis 1 though, and this is going to be part of your homework. Okay, so let me pull up the Word document with your homework assignment on it. All right, so what I've done here is I've given you Genesis 1 through 2 in Hebrew. And it's a little bit messed up, but each of the verbs is in red so that you don't have to try to guess at it because you don't know enough about verbs to even use Logos to make sense of them. But what you're going to be looking at are the nouns that are highlighted in yellow. So this is how I use my Logos to translate Hebrew when I'm teaching the class. And hopefully you'll find this somewhat simple. I go to the first word, and remember we're reading right to left. So this is the first word, and I click on it, and it's going to tell me a few things. First, I look down at the bottom where it's being parsed, and I notice it says it has a preposition, and then it's a noun, and then it's absolute. See the lecture for what absolute means, okay? And what this is telling me is that if I right-click on it, the preposition bait means by, with, or by means of, or in. Okay, and then the word means beginning. Okay, so in the beginning, that's the first set of words all kind of pushed together. Okay, so in the beginning, which shouldn't be surprising because it's Genesis 1:1, and I think most of you know that. The next word, as you'll see in your homework, is a verb, and it just means created. I've already translated that for you. And then our next word here, Elohim, as you'll see when you click on it, it's a noun and it's absolute, and it is God. So in the beginning, created God. And if you remember your sentence structure, your syntax for Hebrew, the subject of the verb comes after the verb. So in the beginning created God in English is in the beginning God created. Then we have, and this will be in the lecture also, an object marker. If you look down at the bottom there, it says object marker. That goes untranslated. It's just telling you that the next word is the object of the verb. And so we go to that next word, and it says Hashemayim. it has an article, and it's a noun. So now we know it's definite because it has the article, the definite article, and the noun means heaven. So in the beginning, God created the heaven, or in this case, because it's plural, heavens. Okay. Then we go to the next word. It tells you we have a conjunction if you look down at the parsing on the bottom, and then another object marker. So we would just translate the vav conjunction and then leave this untranslated because it's an object marker. So just to recap, in the beginning, God created the heaven and article, noun, which means the earth, and the earth. So really what you want to do with the Hebrew language is just go word by word and build the sentence as you go, knowing and noting that a lot of the words are going to be in an order that you wouldn't put them in English. Then really your only job is to rearrange them so that they make sense in English. So that's essentially what you're going to be doing with your homework, is walking through and then on particular words that are highlighted, telling me as much information as you can about them, like parsing them and telling me what they mean, whether or not they're absolute or construct, which the lecture will explain why that's important, and those kinds of things. So really, this is all I want you to do. Jump in the sandbox, play with this, and start discovering what you can about nouns, prepositions, and pronouns in the Hebrew language. And I look forward to talking with you on the discussion boards and answering any questions you have. I hope you had a great weekend, and I will see you all on the boards this week.